You know, an investor report can look like just a bunch of numbers. But sometimes, if you look closely, those numbers tell a really fascinating, even, well, contradictory story. And that is exactly what we've got with the latest report from Tega Industries. So let's unpack it together.
So here's a classic business puzzle for you, one that can trip up even the biggest companies out there. How can you make more money, but end up less profitable? I mean, it sounds impossible, right? Well, as it turns out, Tega Industries' latest report gives us a perfect case study of how this exact thing can happen.
Okay, first up, we're calling this a contradictory quarter, and here's why. The numbers at the top of that report and the numbers at the bottom, yeah, they're telling two completely different stories.
So their performance this past quarter, it's a real paradox. There is some genuinely good news in here, I'm not kidding, but it comes with a major catch. Let's start with the good stuff first, though.
All right, let's zoom out and take that 30,000-foot view. When we look at the big headline numbers, that's where this contradiction just becomes crystal clear.
And the good news? It's right here. Total revenue. Just look at that jump. They went from about 3.5 billion rupees in the first quarter of last year to over 3.7 billion this year. That is a solid increase in sales. It's exactly what you want to see. To put a number on it, that's a 6% jump year over year. And for any company, look, growing your sales is goal number one. So at this point in the story, everything looks fantastic.
But yeah, that is only half the story. Because, growing your revenue is one thing. What really matters is how much of that money you actually get to keep.
And here is where the story takes a turn. This chart shows something called EBITDA. It's a key measure of a company's operating profit. And notice this, even though their sales went up, their profit from their core operations actually went down. We're talking from 759 million rupees to 711 million.
And there it is, the perfect twist in the plot, right? Revenue is up 6%, but their operating profit is down 6%. All that extra money they made from sales, it didn't just disappear, it was basically erased. And then some.
And this downward trend, it continues all the way to the final bottom line. We're talking profit after tax. The actual cash the company gets to put in the bank also shrank, dropping from 367 million all the way down to 353 million rupees.
Okay, so let's just recap the mystery here. Sales are up 6%, but the final profit is down 4%. So how is that even possible? To find the answer, well, we're going to have to dig a little deeper. All right, it's time to put on our detective hats. If we're going to find the culprit for these shrinking profits, we need to look inside the company's financial statements. First things first, let's quickly clarify that term we mentioned, EBITDA. The easiest way to think about it is this. It's basically a measure of how profitable a company's core business operations are. It kind of cuts out all the noise from things like taxes and interest. Just to give you a clear picture and answer one question, is the fundamental business healthy?
So if revenue went up, but that core operational profit went down, where did all that extra cash from sales actually go? Well, the answer, my friends, lies in the company's expenses.
Okay, this right here is our main piece of evidence. It's a snapshot of their profit and loss statement. So follow the money with me on this one. We start at the top with total revenue. We already know that went up. Gross profit is next, and that's up a little bit too. But then, look right here, employee expenses and other expenses. This is where the story completely changes.
And here they are, the two culprits, plain as day. Employee costs, they jumped by nearly 56 million rupees. And then you've got other expenses. This is stuff like marketing, rent, you name it. That shot up by a massive 110 million. You add those two together, and these rising costs just completely overwhelmed all that extra revenue they brought in.
So let's connect all the dots, shall we? Revenue grew by a healthy 6%. That's great. But their operational costs, those employee and other expenses, they grew much, much faster. And that is the key. Those rapidly rising costs didn't just eat into the new sales money, they completely erased it. And that's what ultimately dragged their final profit down.
So after all that digging, what's the ultimate takeaway here? What really is the bottom line?
Look, if you remember just one single thing from this whole breakdown, make it this. For Tega Industries this quarter, more revenue did not lead to more profit. And why? Because of rising operational expenses. It is the perfect, simple answer to that big question we started with.
And you know what? This is such a crucial lesson for any business, not just Tega.
Top-line growth, making more sales. That's the thing everyone celebrates. But this report is the perfect reminder that it's only valuable if you're keeping your costs in check. If your expenses start growing faster than your revenue, you can literally sell more stuff and end up making less money. It's wild.
So, the big question this whole report leaves us with is pretty simple. Was this just a one-quarter blip, a temporary problem? Or is this the start of a new worrying trend for Tega Industries? I guess that's what anyone watching this company will be trying to figure out next quarter. Hey, thanks for digging into the data with me.